Alright, so in the previous lecture, we had a very interesting introduction to series, and we learned how to create a series, how to get some specific results, but we haven't talked about all the functionality there is with series, okay? So let's go ahead, and I'm going to create a new dictionary. Actually, not a new dictionary, but I'm going to add on to this, so give it some more values. What I'm going to be doing is, I'll be just giving them some smaller values to make our lives a bit more simpler. So San Francisco might be 500, San Jose is 150. Let me go ahead and add 2 or 3 more. Let's do London. Maybe London is 15 or 500. Let's do 200. And let's do one more. So let's do London, let's do Tokyo. Tokyo is probably 15 million or 16 million, I don't know. So let's do 600. Okay, so we've added 2 more values to our dictionary. Again, your dictionary can vary, but the reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you guys some other functionalities with our series. So let's go ahead and create our cities is equal to pd.series function again, and it's going to be d. Okay, so now printing out cities, we have our 5 values: 1200, 500, 150, 100, and 1600. All right, cool. So in the previous lecture, we talked about a concept called comparing or finding out specific values. So we did cities is greater than 1 million, and we got these 2 values. So let's go ahead and try something new. Let's go ahead and just print out cities less than 1,000, and we get a list of true and false values. We get London false, San Francisco true, San Jose true, Seattle true, and Tokyo false. So looking at this, basically it's returning us a list of Boolean values for each parameter or each object in our dictionary, and it's just checking to see if the value is actually less than 1,000. So this is the whole concept of using that bool indexation, searching through our dictionary using specific bool concepts and getting our specific values, okay? So that's good stuff. Now let's move on to changing a value. So we've created this series, and the series looks good. I mean, it works. But let's say one day San Francisco somehow got a million more people in its city. So how do we update San Francisco from 500 to 600? So what we can do is, again, just like a dictionary works, you can say cities, San Francisco, and then set the value equal to 600, right? So now if you print out cities, we get London 1200, San Francisco 600, and the rest stay the same, right? So all that's good. And what if you have to change a lot of cities, a lot of values, okay? So right now, doing cities San Francisco, cities London, cities San Jose, that's time consuming, right? We don't have the time. If you had maybe 20 cities, 30 cities, that's easily 10 minutes of work. So the fastest way to do this, for example, if you want to change all these cities to the same number, what you can do is currently, or let's say you want to change all the cities that are less than 1,000 to 750, okay? So you see San Francisco, San Jose, and Seattle, we want to change these 3 values to 750. How do we do that? Well, the concept here is actually quite easy. What you can say is cities, those cities that are less than 100 or 1,000, we want that to be equal to 750. So take a look at this code. We already know that cities less than 100 or less than 1,000 will return us those cities whose values are less than 1,000. Calling cities of those cities will return us those specific true values, and then once we have those cities, we can easily set their values by doing basically what we did up top over here. So go ahead and hit enter, and now if we print out cities, we get San Francisco, San Jose, and Seattle all to be 750. So hopefully that made sense to you. Basically, all we're doing is the same thing as we did up here, except to get that city name, we're using that Boolean parameter, cities less than 1,000. Now let's say we've created a series, okay? And we created it somewhere way up top, and we're wondering, did I add Seattle to my list? Did I add San Jose to my list? If you're not sure whether an item is in a series, you can check using idiomatic Python. So the way that works is, all you have to do is say print Seattle in cities. So what this does is it returns, hey, is Seattle in cities? And if it is, true. Let's go ahead and try with one more city. Print, that's not a city actually, let's do Delhi. If print Delhi in cities, so since it's not there, it's going to return false. So this is something called idiomatic Python, where you're checking for each value inside of the dictionary. So we're basically printing to see, hey, is this city in our cities series? Now, again, you can use mathematical operations with our series. So right now we have all these different values, and as you can see, they're all divisible by 10. So what if you want to divide all of them by 10 and remove the zeros, stuff like that? What you can do is just say cities by 10. And what that does is it gives you an updated cities with all the values divided by 10. So instead of 1200, it's 120, 750 to 75, and so on. So you can also perform mathematical functions with cities or with series. So you can do the square function, so np.square. Np again stands for numpy, but we haven't really imported that yet. So go ahead and import numpy as np, and then you can say np.square cities. So that returns us all the squares of the values that we have done. So taking a look at this, taking a look at what we have done, what we have accomplished, you can see how data analysis is happening. I mean, you can update values, you can divide, you can perform mathematical functions, you can get specific values using Boolean operators. So by now, I hope you're getting the concept of how Pandas will enable us to do data analysis with Python data. So let's go ahead and finish up this lecture. One last concept we can talk about is adding, not adding, but basically checking to see if a value is null or not. So what we can do is we can say the concept of cities.isNull. And what that returns us is it checks to see if any of the values is null. As you can see, you got all false, meaning that all of them have values. So that's it for this lecture. We discussed quite a lot of new functions. We learned about the np.square, performing mathematical functions with series. We learned about how we can use specific Boolean operators to get specific data, change all the data at once, stuff like that. So now you should have a better concept of data analysis, at least with series. And in the next lecture, let's go ahead and move on to our second data structure, which is called data frame.